Hello, Sanford. You are watching the Coyotes Football Network. I'm Jonathan West, and welcome to the Howler. As it's another tough time to talk about Sanford College football because of a 3-game losing streak. First, it was UCF, followed up by, of course, the loss to UConn in heartbreaking fashion, and then last week, the loss after a late game interception to the SMU Mustangs. So, to put it bluntly, the Coyotes not in the best situation. They have pretty much taken themselves out of AAC title contention, and now they look to really just set themselves up for a possible 10-win season. Luckily, we can look forward to Senior Day this week as another recruit has committed, which is a positive. And there are some new recruits to talk about. Brandon Davis, the center, is another recruit to keep in mind here for the Coyotes. He'll be visiting this week for Senior Day. It's going to be a big spectacle, I think, this week, seeing who exactly is there for these seniors. I mean, you've got Big Joe playing his last home game as a Coyote. Tanner Patrick, Claude Fleming, Rob Thomas, Flash Gibson, a number of players, James Bryant. There are a ton of big seniors in their final home game as a Coyote. So it's going to be fun this weekend nonetheless, whether it ends in a W or an L. But big situation on the recruiting trail is Brandon Carter, a kicker being recruited. He's, from what I know, looked to be a guy for the future after Jackson Stone graduates next season. So let's take a look at what might be to come. Right now, Sanford is projected to take on Boise State in the Poinsettia Bowl. I think that would be quite an interesting matchup. See those two teams face off against each other. Now, players of the week to cover. You've got Sean Bradley, the middle linebacker out of Temple, winning defensive honors. As on the offensive side, we've heard the name a ton this year. Cole Kelly, the quarterback for Tulane, wins the honors there. We'll see Tulane next week in the final regular season game of the season for Sanford as they head down to New Orleans. And currently in the conference standings, Tulane stands on top of everyone. Memphis, UCF, and Houston following suit. UConn right now sitting at 6th with their 3-3 conference record. At this point, it's all but impossible, I would say. UCF would have to lose their next 2 games. They have to. That's just what has to happen. UCF has to lose out, and Sanford has to win out for them to have a shot. And, of course, as we anticipated with the top 25 situation, Sanford has dropped out of the top 25. So, a lot of negatives to look at this week. Not a good thing, but Sanford at least hosting the USF Bulls this week. And it'll be a fun one. The Bulls are a tough team, and I think Sanford's got a fun matchup against them. And I think wholeheartedly Sanford can come away with a big win. And for the first time, I think at all, Sanford fans are going to be cheering for the UConn Huskies as they host the Golden Knights of the University of Central Florida. So, hopefully we'll get some updates on that game. I'm hoping we hear a lot about that game. But we'll see if we get anything from it or not. As let's talk about this weekend's contest. As Sanford right now the favorite for Kirk Herbstreit, as USF record-wise not looking the greatest. But of course you got to keep in mind Sanford is running a 3-game losing stint. The players, from what I know from the little bit I've gotten to talk to them this week, not in the brightest of moods. It's been very, very somber around the players. A lot of these guys don't know what it's like to be on a big losing streak like this. So it's tough for them after how positive the season started. Winning against teams like Oklahoma State and Penn State, but then now you're on a 3-game losing stint. It's tough to take. So a lot of them have really kind of laid back. They haven't wanted to talk to myself nor anybody else media related, and it's fully understandable. So we'll hopefully get back on positive ground this weekend if Sanford can find their offensive drive, can find their defense, which has been missing for a good chunk of this year. It's been a tough situation. Hopefully they can get back in order. However, you see USF's schedule situation looks a lot like SMU's. So hopefully Sanford doesn't fall victim to falling into another situation where it's win-loss, and you're standing in a spot where they normally win. Let's talk about some positive stuff, though, and that is Big Joe Irvin's sack record. He is 1 sack away from tying his sack record of 12 sacks in a season. That is a school record here at Sanford, and that's huge. If he can tie that up his senior season, I don't doubt he's a first-round talent with ease. Hopefully he can get maybe 2 within the end of the season or even in the bowl game to get up to that 13 mark. Would love to see that. Let's talk USF players, though. Guy to watch is quarterback Chris. Let's see if I can get this one right. Oladokun. Something around that. I apologize to him and his family for that one. But he's been a solid quarterback throughout the year so far. His first year starting, so you have to give him a little leeway there. But the senior hasn't been too terribly bad for the Bulls. Now, the big guy to watch, though, I think is Andrew Washington, the halfback. He doesn't have a ton of yards, only 621, but he is averaging 5 yards a carry. 5.5 yards a carry. So he really is a deadly threat with that ball in his hands, and if he can average that each carry, and he's getting 10 to 15, just in a split situation, he's a tough guy to take on. Now on the defensive side of things, you got senior Mikario Stanley, the middle linebacker. He's pretty much the leader of this defense, and we'll see if he can lead the USF Bulls to a big defensive victory over Sanford. The offense for Sanford has been very, I don't know how to put it, very inconsistent. I guess that is the best way to put it. Very inconsistent, and we'll see if they can get back to their high points instead of the low points we've been seeing. Last guy to talk about here for the Bulls, cornerback Armons Matthews. He is a guy that I think is the biggest issue. Tanner Patrick, we know, not the most consistent when it comes to throwing interceptions. Matthews scares me for that situation alone. He can be a top-tier shutdown corner. Now let's talk Sanford players to watch. Claude Fleming, of course, leading the way. He is but only 134 yards away from hitting that 1,000-yard mark, and I don't doubt he will definitely make it. He's averaging 86.6 yards per game. I think he's easily got this, and he'll have to end his career another 1,000-yard season. Now, Josh Williams has had a very productive year, and he's doing it with less receptions right now. 28 receptions, 568 yards. He's got 8 touchdowns. There's a chance he walks out of this season with double-digit touchdowns. That would be huge for the sophomore, especially after last year and the whole off-the-field issues that took place. We've talked plenty about Big Joe even just today. His 11 sacks leads the team, and only 1 off from his own school record. We'll see if he can get the job done, whether it be today, next week, or into a bowl game, maybe even an AAC championship if we're lucky enough to see that. Let's talk about a man who, to end things, has been very, very good this season. Daniel Clemens, the strong safety, a question mark, wild card if you will, going into the season. He's played extremely well. 2 sacks on the year, and is a big hitter from that strong safety spot. So Clemens has really, I think, won over the coaching staff this year. Expect for him to keep that starting job next season. Now, a fun factoid I want to bring up here as you folks get to watch the clips from practice this week. these Coyotes are undefeated on Senior Day. They have never lost a game on Senior Day through their first 5 years of existence. It seems to me that when Senior Day comes around, not only do the seniors play harder, but everyone on this team plays for those guys. So they want to make sure they walk away with a W in their last game as a Coyote in front of the home fans. So I'm not going to say that gives me enough confidence to say this team's coming out on top. But it shows that this team comes out with a different kind of fight in them when the seniors are in the spotlight. And when it's guys like Claude Fleming, guys that are really huge leaders on this team, Joe Irvin, Fleming, you could say Gibson in that secondary. I mean, when it's guys like that, they're going to really try and pull their best out, not only for the home crowd, but for the rest of their teammates and the other seniors on the team. I'm expecting guys like Flash, Rob Thomas. I'm expecting those guys to have a big game this week. Especially Flash, who's got to bounce back from very poor performances as of late. He's got to show off that he is better than that missed tackle at the end of the UConn game. And the Senior Day game is that chance to really have a final proving ground before we get to the games that, aren't going to be in front of the home crowd. They're not going to be in front of the home crowd in a bowl game. And we know they're not going to be hosting an AAC championship game, that's for certain. This team, at least with the seniors coming into this week, have to be focused on giving 110%. And if I'm Coach Wolf at least, I don't sit there and talk about the 3-game losing streak. I don't talk about how important it is to come away with a win. It's Senior Day, and what needs to come first is those guys who are playing their last game in front of the home crowd. So keep that in mind when you're watching the game this week, folks, on your televisions, on the websites, whatever. However you see the Sanford ball game. But keep that in mind when you're watching that. I feel it's going to be a game much more about these seniors than about just getting a W back on the schedule. But that's all the time we've got for this week's edition of the Howler. We will see you folks this weekend as the Sanford Coyotes host Senior Day against the USF Bulls. Going to be a fun one. Hello, Sanford. You are watching the Coyotes Football Network. My name is Jonathan West, and it is time to hashtag defend the den. More than likely the last time this season that the Sanford Coyotes will get the opportunity to defend the den as they face the USF Bulls. The University of Southern Florida comes up here to Maine. It's nice, no snow falling this week, but it is a big game with the spotlight on the seniors. I talked plenty of it in the Howler. I will not go too much more into it here before this game begins. But I did get a small word in with a couple of the seniors before the game today. I was able to talk to Claude Fleming, Tanner Patrick, and Joe Irvin, kind of the leaders of this team. I asked them all how today felt walking into the locker room, getting ready and all that. And they all said pretty much the same exact thing. They're sad that it's the last time they're going to be here in front of the home fans, but they're excited to have one of the best games of their careers here to end things off. So it seems like they're hyped up for this final home game of the season. We'll see if Sanford can pull it off as we get underway. Jackson Stone boots us off, and it looks like the Bulls will take a knee in the end zone. So the most boring way to begin things in football, if you ask me, but nonetheless, the USF Bulls out to begin out of the I form. They'll go to the passing game, and that's the tight end Neal. Enough for the first down, 10-yard reception. Jim Neal with the first catch of the day. It looks like some no-huddle offense here from the Bulls, but that throw goes out of bounds, incomplete, and the defense now holds them to a 2nd and 10. As they're still under center, As it's a throw, that's incomplete again, out of bounds. Oladokin having a bad day right now to start things off. 3rd and 10. Man coverage here by Sanford, and that's an interception! Flash Gibson, what a way to start senior day. The senior corner comes right up front to make the interception. Right as he turns his head, he sees the football and takes it right away. So it's 1st down Sanford after a great interception by Flash Gibson. They'll go on the ground with Claude Fleming, a 6-yard run for the senior running back. He's looking to get to that 1,000 yards. If not today, then maybe next week. 2nd and 4. It's a jet sweep to Josh Williams. Surprised to see him go with the end around here instead of continuing to run straight up the gut, but it'll be a gain of 2. 3rd and 2 under center. They go back to Fleming, and he'll fight his way up for a gain of 4. Able to get just past the marker. So this Sanford team is driving well to begin things. They now go to their full house package. And Patrick's going to throw, rolling out right. But he's caught by the feet, and that's going to be a sack. A loss of 6 by Steven Salas. As that is a big loss for Sanford here early. They're going to now have to more than likely continue to go through the air. They want a chance at this. He did the check down to Joe Baker, but I believe he wanted Rob Thomas, his fellow senior there, downfield on the slant. 2nd and 16. Handoff goes to Joe Baker. As I mentioned him being open in the flats in the last play. It's a 1-yard run for Joe's. He couldn't find much room. That'll set up 3rd and 14 as they give him about 1.5. Patrick looks to throw. He connects with Williams, but he can't hold on. It's a dropped pass, and that's going to mean Stone kicks the field goal and off the upright. Nothing going the way of the Coyotes as we got to take you to an update here. Upset alert in Columbus as Indiana has upset number 2 in the nation, Ohio State. 42-35, the Hoosiers over the Buckeyes. We got some other games for you here in the AAC. UCF defeated Connecticut 42-24. Temple over East Carolina. As we get back here to Sanford, as Washington takes the handoff, and he's going to find some room, an 8-yard gain for Andrew Washington. The no-huddle continues here for the Bulls. They'll go downfield, and that one nearly taken away. Clemmings and Jordan wanted it, and they should have just figured out who was going to take it. 3rd and 2. Dropping back, and that one goes incomplete. I'm just going to call him Chris from now on because I guarantee you that name is more than likely not being pronounced correctly. So Chris can't complete that play as they will go back to Sanford. And their offense gets to go back to work on the ground. An 8-yard carry for Claude Fleming as the senior getting plenty of running room today. They'll go to Joe Baker now here on 2nd and 2, and he'll only find 1 yard there. Couldn't cut back inside to get the 2 he wanted. 3rd and 1 in the I form, Fleming in the ball game, but they go Charles Gutierrez. The freshman fullback picks up the first. Nobody expected it to go to Gutierrez, and that worked out perfectly. 1st and 10 now as Patrick dropping back. He'll go across the middle, and that one off the hands of Andre Polk. Luckily, that one wasn't taken away. 2nd and 10, shotgun formation. Patrick setting up a screen for Baker. He's worked very well out of that passing attack, and he can only find 2 yards, though, as he couldn't get his blocks. 3rd and 8, Patrick wanted to find his man, but he ran out of time. Brought down as it fell incomplete off of his hands, and that means that it will go back to the Bulls. Over the middle, Chris finds Murphy, and that is going to be a 19-yard gain and enough for the 1st down. The Coyotes defense has to find a way to slow down their passing attack. That is for sure, as man in motion is the tight end. As Chris looks to throw, he's run out of time. He's going to take off, but brought down Shea Faraday. It'll only be a gain of 2 for the Bulls. 2nd and 8 as the no-huddle continues. Chris drops back over the middle. Can't connect with Murphy this time around as he was a little off target for his intended man. 3rd and 8. This defense ready to go as they check it down to Murphy on the curl, and he bounces off a defender in the open running room. It's a 25-yard gain. A huge play by the Bulls as this defense now on their heels. 1st and 10 as the man in motion once again was the tight end. They sent the blitz, and it worked out. Matthew Fowler comes in from the middle linebacker position. A big sack there. Loss of 6 for the Bulls, and that puts them where they want to be. 2nd and 16 as Chris drops back again. He's going towards the sideline, and it falls incomplete again. Far overthrown for his intended target. 3rd and very long now. As they're in what looks like a zone scheme here. Deep ball, and just past Gibson goes Raymond Byrd, and Gibson just stopped running after him. I think he thought he was sitting down. As 1st and goal now because of the first. Chris takes off, but Big Joe was there to bring him down. A loss of 2. Big stop there from the senior, Big Joe Irvin. 2nd and 12 here as Chris hands off to Washington, and that's going to be a gain of maybe 1 yard as Washington couldn't find a lot of room. Good tackle by Daniel Clemens from his safety spot as it will bring us to the end of the first quarter. We're all tied up at 0 apiece, but the Bulls are threatening. We'll have more here on the Coyotes Football Network. Welcome back, everyone, to the Coyotes Football Network. The beginning of the second quarter just getting underway as Chris connects with Washington, and he runs right into Daniel Clemens' shoulder. That's going to set them up for a field goal, though, as they have a chance to put the first points on the board, and they will. 3-0 as Sanford goes down early here to UCF in the second quarter. 1st and 10 now for the Sanford offense back out on the field, and Tanner Patrick can go nowhere on the option, a loss of 1. 2nd and 11 out of the gun. Patrick looking to throw, but the pressure comes in, and it is another sack. Wendell Weber picks up this one. He comes in from his linebacker spot and just comes right through. Not enough offensive linemen to block all the rushers. 3rd and 20, shotgun formation. They need a big play. Patrick going downfield, and it's taken away by Watts. And a huge interception as he won't go down. Finally, he's brought down at around the 23. But that is the last thing this team needed. A huge interception for the Bulls as Sanford now has to go back on defense. And the Bulls are nearly in the red zone already. 1st and 10 for USF. Chris dropping back. He connects quickly with Raymond Byrd, and it'll be a 5-yard gain against Dustin Jordan. As Chris now going under center in the single back here as the shotgun continues in the no huddle. Washington takes the handoff, and it'll be enough for the first as a gain of 6. The Coyotes defense, they're getting worn down quickly from this no huddle offense. It's extremely obvious as Washington to the edge here fights through Pat Riley, and it's another solid gain of 6 yards. The no-huddle continues. They're still in that single back. They go back to Andrew Washington, but he's caught pretty quick there. It will be a gain of 4 to Sean Hollis, the man who brought him down initially. 3rd and inches as they continue the no-huddle. And they go right back to Washington. He fights his way in the end zone. Touchdown, Bulls. And Sanford now looking at a 2-score deficit here with about 5 minutes left to go in the half. We'll take you to an update, though, as Baylor has defeated TCU, number 23 in the nation, Baylor, 34-27. Baylor over the Horned Frogs. Welcome back here to Sanford as Tanner Patrick and company back on offense and a big hit on Claude Fleming. Only a gain of 2 there. 2nd and 8 out of the shotgun. Patrick to throw. Connects with Lorenzo Newman, and they will give him enough for the first down. So a nice play there to get some momentum going. They have to keep that up as in the offset eye. They're going back to the ground, and a huge hit again on Claude Fleming. He only finds 1. 2nd and 9 out of the single back. Patrick dropping back. He's trying to roll out, but he takes a shot for his trouble, as that is Andre Polk, the man that brings him down. He was trying to roll out, get more time. I believe he wanted Claude Fleming as his checkdown target. Couldn't hit him, as Polk hit him first. 3rd and 21 in a 5-wide set. Patrick dropping back, goes deep, and Craig Watts takes it a second time in just about the same exact spot on the field. And there's going to be a face mask penalty, adding 15 to this. When it rains, it pours, folks, as Dante Brandt, the man getting called for the face mask. It's just a bad situation now as the Bulls are already inside the red zone after the interception. Handoff goes to Andrew Washington, and it's going to be a 5-yard gain. As Sanford needs to find something on defense. Something has to work out here. A 2nd and 5 play action. Wide open, Raymond Byrd into the end zone. It's a 3-possession ball game now with 2.5 left. This first half has not gone Sanford's way. 17-0. Your score as the Coyotes take back over on offense. Play action by Patrick. Check down goes to Gutierrez, but he can't hang on. It is dropped, and that's going to force Sanford into 2nd and 10. Patrick dropping back. He's rolling out, just throws this one away. Doesn't want to take another unnecessary sack. But that sets up 3rd and long here. Shotgun formation. Patrick looks to throw. Over the middle. Connects with Patrick Jackson. The Patrick to Patrick connection. 18 yards and a first down. That is a tight window to get that ball into, and Jackson took a shot. A minute 50 remains here in the half. Patrick goes to the screen for Baker. He's got blocks and more than the first, as that is up past midfield, past the 40 to the 38-yard line. A big play there on the screen, and that is exactly what this team needed. Some momentum for Tanner Patrick through the air, as well as a big play to get this offense going. 1st and 10 out of the pistol. Patrick looks to throw to the sideline. It's an 18-yard catch for Josh Williams. This time around, this offense is clicking. The momentum is driving them now. 1st and 10. With a minute 21 to go, Patrick spins off of a would-be tackle and does find positive yardage. It's only 1, but it's not a loss, and that's something to look at. 2nd and 9 with under a minute to go in the first half. Patrick rolling out. Throws, finds Williams. He hangs on after a big shot. It's a 12-yard connection. First timeout taken by Sanford here. As 1st and goal, Patrick looks to throw. Quick shot to Williams, but he can't hang on. Falls incomplete. 2nd and goal, Nick Brown, the man in motion. Handoff goes to Fleming. He's got running room, spins off of a tackle, but can't get enough. So he takes a shot. It will be a 3-yard gain. 3rd and goal here, folks. Pistol formation. And Patrick goes option, but he runs right into a lineman. And that brings up 4th and goal. The offense, though, still on the field. Out of the full house, Patrick rolling out to the end zone. Touchdown, Thomas! Rob Thomas with the touchdown. Sanford is on the board before the half. They risked it on 4th and goal. They took the chance. It works out. Senior to senior connection in the end zone. Well, 17-7, 24 seconds remain here in the first half. At least the Coyotes have some momentum as that one falls incomplete, missing the intended target, Andrew Washington. So out of the shotgun, Chris takes the snap. He connects with Bird, and that's going to be a that's going to be a 7-yard gain. 3rd and 3 coming up. 3rd and 3 out of the shotgun. Oladokum connects with Neal, and that's going to be enough for the first. Second timeout of the half taken by the Bulls. They want a chance to at least put something up, it seems, here. 1st and 10. Over the middle, that's Robinson, and that will be a 9-yard gain. 5 seconds left, no timeouts now after the third just got taken. This one's going to the end zone, I would assume. Deep shot, and it falls incomplete. So that will take us to the half. Sanford with some momentum here to end the half, and that is huge to go off of. 17-7 your score at halftime, UCF on top, or USF on top. Sanford, though, has to find a way. We'll have more here on the Coyotes Football Network. Welcome back, everyone, to the beginning of the second half of play. The beginning kickoff goes to Steven Supersonic Sullivan. And the young athlete out of Canada finds a lot of running room, breaking out of 2 tackles and finds 36 yards on that return. That is a great start for the Coyotes to begin this second half. 1st and goal, and it's the option to begin things. Tanner Patrick finds enough room to get into Bull territory. As 1st and 10 after the big run from Patrick, he hands it off to Fleming, but he can't find much room, only a yard on that run. He hasn't had the best day here on Senior Day. 2nd and 9, man in motion's Gutierrez, and they go back to Fleming as he's got room. There's the run they were looking for. 15 yards and a 1st down for Sanford as Fleming finds the edge, gets some blocks, and has a great path in front of him. It's another option here. This one gets pitched, though, to Fleming, but picked off by Matthews. It's technically considered a fumble, but nonetheless, that went right into the hands of Matthews. I think Patrick should have just kept it. He had room in front of him. The pitch was poorly timed. 1st and 10 here now for the Bulls as the pressure comes in, and connection with Lowry as he carries Flash Gibson for an extra 3-5. 26 yards on that play, already into Coyote territory. The no-huddle begins again here for USF as it is a 2-yard run for Andrew Washington, as Sanford's defense has at least held him in check for the most part. As Oladcom throws it again into just no man's land. Falls incomplete. 3rd and 8. It's a 3rd and long situation here. The Sanford defense has an opportunity as that one is way out of the reach of his intended target. It's 4th down. Sanford's getting the ball back. 1st and 10 to the ground goes Sanford again. It is a gain of 2. Fleming on that carry. As 3rd and 2 now. Baker on the run. He finds 3 yards as he checks into Spell. Fleming. Hopefully they can get something going here. 3rd and 5. Jackson the man in motion. They go jet sweep play action. Patrick on the run. He's going to take off. And he's got enough. They're giving it to him. 1st down, Sanford. This is huge here for the Coyotes. They've got momentum. They now have to keep it. Now have the full house. It's a handoff to Joe Baker as he fights just to gain 5 yards on that carry. He has had a very nice season as the number 2 back this year. More than likely going to be taking over as the number 1 guy next year as a big play there. 33 yards downfield to Lorenzo Newman off the play action. Finally, the big plays are coming. Maybe it'll be a tale of 2 halves for the Coyotes because they're doing a good job right here. 1st and 10 with about 3 minutes left to go here in the third. Fleming fighting, and he'll collect 5 on that carry. 2nd and 5, single back formation. Patrick dropping back over the middle, and it gets batted away by Matthews. Luckily, that's all it was. Not the greatest pass by Patrick. It's Gutierrez, the man in motion. Patrick hands off to Fleming, and he's fighting and through a defender. Enough for the first. Gain of 7. A much better half for Claude Fleming already on the ground as Patrick on the run here as he finds Patrick Jackson. Touchdown Coyotes, 17 yards. As a much needed play there, he connects with him on the crossing pattern, and it worked out to perfection. The speed on display of Jackson to get the separation needed, and Sanford is back in this one. As we got another update for you, Tennessee defeats Vanderbilt 20-17. The Vols get the W over Vanderbilt, helps their season get closer to bowl eligibility. Welcome back to Sanford, everyone. 17-14. USF not with as big of a lead as they had as a flag comes flying in, and it's a false start for the Bulls. Things are looking up for the Coyotes, both now it looks like on offense and defense as the USF Bulls messing up here. 1st and 15, they go to the screen for Washington. He's got a bit of room but can't find too much. It's a gain of 4. 2nd and 11. Neal, the man in motion as Olodkum finds Neal, and that's going to be enough. Or, I'm sorry, not enough for the first down, but close to the marker. It's a gain of around 9. 3rd and 2. Here's the no-huddle continues. And that is another catch by Neal. 12 yards and a first. So he had 1 foot step out. 1st and 10. The no-huddle is continuing here for the Bulls. As Olodkum connects with Robinson, and that's going to be a 5-yard gain brought down by Flash Gibson. 2nd and 5. Under center is Olodkum. Washington, the back in the backfield, and they'll go play action here. Quick connection to Robinson doesn't work, and it's taken by Gibson. Somehow he was able to grab that football before it hit the turf. What a pick! Number 2 on the day for Gibson. As I stated, the senior seemed to shine on senior day, and that was close to touching the turf. I don't know if it hit or not, but unless that gets called back, it's a pick. Sanford keeps control of the football as no review is made. It's a 7-yard run here for Joe Baker out of the full house. But what a play by Gibson on that last pick. Absolutely wonderful. 2nd and 3, an option play here as Patrick gets just enough for the first. That might, though, take us to the end of the 3rd quarter. Now we'll have one more play, it looks like, as Patrick gets it off right before the end of the quarter. And Newman able to find 8 yards on that reception, as that will officially take us to the end of the 3rd. 17-14, and the Coyotes are looking like they're going to strike here. We'll be back here with the Coyotes Football Network. Welcome back, everyone, to the Coyotes Football Network. It is the final quarter of play, and the Coyotes are looking to take the lead for the first time today, as it is 3rd and 3 going to be coming up after that stop there of Fleming in the backfield. They are in the eye for him. Fleming gets the handoff, and it will be enough for the first. Gain of 4. Claude Fleming, as the workhorse, continues to work out for the Coyotes today. First and goal. Patrick goes play action. Rolling out. He's going to run with him. I'm a little surprised. I thought he might have had Newman for a tight window, but decided not to go with him. A gain of 3. The pitch goes out to Joe Baker here on second and goal. It's only a gain of 2. That sets up third and goal here now. Goal line set. Fleming in the ball game. And they're going to give it to him. Into the end zone goes the senior. Touchdown, Sanford. They have made the comeback. The first lead of the day for the Coyotes, as USF takes back the football on offense. Oladokum looks for his man. He finds Bird, and that is a huge play to begin this drive. 31 yards. So he got behind that Sanford defense. Oladokum on the run here, and he's going to find room. That's a gain of 11, a big first down again. Sanford's got to play more focused here on defense. They got to stay in their lanes. They got to stay where they need to be, as Bird with another big play. 17 more yards. The Bulls driving right downfield with this no-huddle offense. First and 10, the fake fullback pitch doesn't work out, as Washington couldn't find any room. Sam Moore, the senior corner, makes the play. All the seniors showing up. Deshaun Hollis hasn't made a lot of plays, but he's done what he's needed to do, setting that edge on that left side as Joe Irvin brings down Stewart. He fought, though, for a gain of 7. 3rd and 7 as the defense chants are loud here in Sanford. 3rd and 7 to the air as it's no good. Falls incomplete. USF's going to have to settle. And it doesn't look like they're willing to settle as the offense is out in the field. Oladokum, quick throw, and it falls incomplete. It is a turnover on downs. A quick throw off the hands of the intended receiver. It's Sanford football. Well, now Sanford's right where they like to be. They can run the football as they will here with Claude Fleming right up the gut for a big gain. Some great blocking up front by the offensive line, as it sets up a new set of downs here. Play action by Patrick. Throws it to Baker. With easy check down, as that's going to be a nice gain of around 10. But they won't give them the first down. Sanford just has to take as much time as they wish off the clock. They will run it here on 2nd down. Claude Fleming for a gain of 4, and enough for the first. 1st and 10, clock continues to tick away, and Joe Baker gets the handoff but can't find room. Steven Salas there to bring him down. 2nd and 10, back in that full house, and they're going to throw the football. Patrick through the air, one-handed grab, Rob Thomas. A 9-yard gain, and it sets up 3rd and 1. As they're getting to the point where the Bulls are going to have to start calling timeouts, as Fleming gets the handoff. 1st down and plenty more, as the first timeout called by USF. 1st and 10, handoff goes to Fleming. 1 first down seals this ball game away, as a timeout taken by Southern Florida. That brings up 2nd and 10. Out of the pistol, they'll hand it off to Fleming, and he'll go up the gut for a gain of 7. 3 yards, folks, and this game is over as Southern Florida takes their last timeout. 3rd and 3, hand off to Fleming. 1st down, the game is over. And that run right there got Fleming over the 100-yard mark. Great ending to this ball game, as Flash Gibson, your player of the game for those 2 interceptions he had. Of course, I think the The tight one that almost looked like a trap catch there was the bigger of the two, but Sanford back in the win column and still undefeated on Senior Day. 21-17 your final here from Sanford, as a big day for some of the seniors. Claude Fleming having a good day, 100 yards on the ground, had some great runs in that second half. It was a story of two halves, as Flash Gibson played well there, getting those 2 picks. Did give up the one big play, but that last interception, I think, is really what won this game overall for the Coyotes. A huge win for Sanford as they now go into the last game of the season next week at Tulane with a W back on their side. We will see you folks then. I've been Jonathan West. You've been watching the Coyotes Football Network. We'll see you next week.